I'm just unlucky.
Prison of Elders welcomes you. Impossible warden. Yes.
Though it's not so bad when we farm it up. I mean, these are like, what, 12-minute runs, usually.
Let's move this prisoner.
Got a couple decent rolls. I don't have, like, the roll, but... Let's say if we go into Lightfall, I got a couple rolls that I'll be like, yeah, you know, I can pull something out of the vault. I have to give them, like, an idea of, you know, what I would be using. I'll take a look in the vault, delete 1, 2, 3, maybe like... Good Lord, I have a lot to delete, actually. I probably delete like 10 of them. This would be nice if it was double loot. But it's not. Ow. Ambitious Assassin multi-kill clip's pretty big. That would have been cool. They kind of both feed into each other. Not alive, you don't get heavy breaks. Even worse. But the good news is since we have Hunter running Aeon and Lucent, he makes 5 heavy pretty much, or 5 rockets as soon as he finishes a champion, and it only takes like 2 rockets to kill a champion, so we have extras. I don't need it. He's gonna finish that one, right? Nope. Guess not. I have to be a little more careful with my rocket usage up here then. There's no champions, and if I went into this with 8 rockets, what I'd normally do would be fire a rocket at this group to clear out both these hobgoblins, and then fire a rocket at this guy, which I will still do. Use the train passes. And then they should fire a rocket. Perfect. Then we fire a rocket at this guy. Perfect. Then I use my super to keep it clear. And most of this is pretty easy to skip. Like, really, you're only focused when you're running Nightfall on Platinum. That's it. And you need some score. But really, it's just champions. And luckily, you can kill all of the champions except one. So in the mine section, as long as you take your time in the mines early, and kill both the champions that show up before you take A, then the overload that spawns isn't even like a deal. You just ignore him. Hopefully they make a couple rockets here. I'm running a little low, but I'll take that risk. Nope. Ooh. Oh, fuck. I lasered. So, oh, I do get some rockets. That's nice. Much about it. It's finishable. Oh, he makes 4 rockets a brick. Oh, that's fine. If I had more finders on, we'd be in a great spot. You can also, like, when you're doing this strat, having nobody on Void is not that big of a deal. The Void shields that exist in this strike are not... They're the 2 Minotaurs. 2 Minotaurs. They despawn. You can ignore both of those. There's that guy at the end. You can technically ignore him. There's a incendiary... Or it's not Minotaur. It's one of those incendiary cabals. You can ignore him. Am I not seeing health correctly?
They are dead.
I have 8 rockets on the ground.
Are not.
Throw that there. Yeah, you can ignore half of the Void shielded enemies in this strike and lose 0 amounts of sleep. Because anything else, like this guy, you just send 2 Galahorns at him, and that's it. Alright, so now that overload should be useless for a little while.
Victory.
And then he'll despawn, and he's not that big of a deal. This guy's Void Shields, he'll despawn. So. I don't have my super up yet, though. Let's... I'll have to use a couple rockets here.
Final round. A mighty cabal. Challenge.
Okay, I'll be able to use it down below. And all this stuff despawns, which is fine. I'm trying to even think if there's any Void enemies that are really worth taking a Void. Like, there's none that you have to kill. You can skip all of them. not only can you skip all of them, you can just delete them with heavy because there's so many champions like in the area around them.
Your treasure awaits.
So for example, the first time you really see a void is 2 void minotaurs in the train section, the left and right Frogger section. You can ignore both of those. When you kill the boss, they despawn. Little mini boss in there, they despawn. You can freeze one, and it makes it safer, because he usually likes to flank up the side. In the next area, there's one Void Cabal at the top of the stairs. I usually kill him to be safe, because he's kind of annoying, but you can ignore him with a freeze. Really? The barrier champions are the definition of no you.
An old friend is here. Judgment at hand.
Oh, exotic on that one.
Okay, I'm making a mental note never to
Cascade
forget you
points
are.
back at it again, this time with spike grenades.
I'll bring the ship into transmat range.
I swear the only 3 that exist in here are Cascade Point, Frenzy, and Rangefinder. I think I've gotten a bunch of Rangefinder ones too. Like what can it even roll, right? I've seen one full court actually. I've seen one golden tricorn, and I've seen one explosive light. The rest have been Cascade, Rangefinder. Most of them have been Cascade, actually. I've only seen a couple auto-loading. Most of them have been, like, Clown Cartridge Cascade. I think this is probably my first Cascade auto-loading with Spike. So, I mean, that's probably the role that I would want to chase if I was using Cascade. And even then, it's like a 50-50 on whether an extra bit of magazine. I think you can get through, like, 8 shots with Cascade. But the thing is you would want to use something else to proc Cascade.
Escape prisoners are destabilized.
And what would you use? Auto-loading triple tap sniper, maybe? So then you would go auto-loading on that, triple tap to proc Cascade. You'd put that away, fire the Cascade, and the auto-loading would reload the sniper so that you could then swap back to the sniper and then triple tap that again. I don't fucking know, man. Whatever it is, it ain't worth it. Hoping we can chill. Are there any craftable? I guess Thoughtless can probably roll with the auto-loading holster,
Out of your way.
but isn't like
Find the light.
they're in different slots, right? So you wouldn't ever get auto-loading and triple tap. You'd get like auto-loading and Vorpal, I guess. Firing line, auto-loading firing line. Ugh. That's why it's such a big problem to have something like Cascade. If Cascade was easier to proc on the guns that it required procking for, it would be better. No, stop. And then you don't really need you don't need a special at all if you run this kind of build, because two primaries to kind of just deal with champion mechanics, and then you ignore the champion mechanics beyond that. You primary everything else or heavy it to death, which is why Galahorn's real nice. Another non-legendary one would be great too. Like if you wanted to run the Monarch for piercing bow, you could run like a demo solar rocket launcher and be fine. I particularly like Galahorn though, because it's a very fire forget, easy. It's very fire and forget. It's easy to kind of lock it onto something, let it do its damage, because it does a lot of damage compared to other rockets, just on its own. Like, I can fire it at a champion, and I know that that champion is probably going to die. Wait, where'd my fucking super go? There it is. What the fuck? Did it go up? Yeah, you have these two Minotaurs. You have okay, there is another one there. You have those two. They don't matter. One of them will charge you, and sometimes he'll get hit by a train, and so you don't have to worry about it. Sometimes he will make it all the way over, so it looks like he's going to keep trying to charge this way. I'll just keep him over there. But as long as you kill the boss, which looks like it's coming here. As long as you kill the boss, it doesn't matter. They'll both despawn, and then you don't have to worry about them. So that's the 2 out of, I think there's like 6 or 8 in here. Not big of a deal. There's one in this next hallway, which I kill, but we could very easily freeze it and then just go past it. There is another Cabal Void Shield one in the next area, but he despawns when all the mines are destroyed, and you generally just ignore him anyway. He's not on anything important. Like, I could probably go two bows in this, as long as I had heavy, and we would be fine. Like overload bow, overload scout, or overload bow, or is it overload scout? It'd probably have to be like a rapid fire scout, not a rapid fire bow. Okay, so now that he's made ammo for me, I'm just gonna clear ads. I've lost one of the bricks, however. Maybe I put on like a shoot to loot scout. Because I guess I don't know if this is the case. But in Destiny 1, let's say that a rocket would give you, or a heavy ammo brick would give you 2 rockets. If you used shoot to loot, it would give you like 3 rockets, like an extra rocket. Fuck. It would give you an extra rocket. And I don't know if shoot to loot is the case still, that it does that. But if it does, then I could do a shoot to loot scout, and then each one of these bricks pick up an extra rocket from them. And I'm not quite sure. I don't remember what used to trigger that, whether it was inventory size or, whatever would cause that. Take a couple bricks. What do we have left? We just have this barrier guy. Everything else was frozen and we just killed it. Okay. Alright, so that one's 3, 6, 7. See anything else? Throw this over there.
Round 2. Dismantle mines. Or you die.
You die. Alright, good enough. Throw this here, so it will hopefully stun the overload champion that spawns, because he's not important. Stand here. That's the void shielded cabal incinerator that will disappear along with this. So technically there's only 3 overloads that you need to worry about, but you can't ignore them. They are in very dangerous spots. I have extra rockets. Oh, I blew myself up.
Stand proud. You survived the prison of elders.
Guardian down.
Retreat to airlock. Treasure waits below. It calls to you.
So there are 4 void boys you could skip. 3 is super easy to skip. Ignore the minotaurs, kill the mini boss. Skip that one. You're already on a timer. Doesn't matter if you kill that one or not. Kill the one at the top of the stairs or end of the hallway before the lift up. Now here, you send 1 person down. You send 2 people down. But make sure 1 person stays up here, because sometimes this strike glitches and will not spawn the champions. And if you have people stay up here and wait, there we go, and fall down once it says a champion has appeared, then they'll be down there and then it'll continue. Otherwise, the champions won't appear, the boss will spawn at the end, you'll kill the boss, it'll spawn the chest, but it won't give you completion. So And there are so many champions down here that you can quite literally kill all but 2. Have Rex go in here and finish that guy there. Ignore this guy. And you will pretty much have enough heavy for the boss. With and a golden gun, or, you know, you got Blade Barrage.
An old friend is
Then you just melt the
here.
boss with rockets.
Judgment at
Collect your free Wendigo.
Thanks for
That
your
is
help out here,
probably
chosen
poorly
one.
rolled. Let's see.
So, hey.
Oh, explosive light
confession
field
time.
prep.
Spider asked me to get a crew together to take the prison back from the Barons.
Close.
And you did great.
Now, if this had auto-loading holster, this would be okay. I'd accept this. And the reason is increases the magazine size. And how explosive light works is it increases the damage of the next shot, but minimizes the impact damage. So spike is less important in explosive light than it would be otherwise. It's still extra damage, and extra damage is never bad. But something like field prep to get a couple extra inventory size in the back end, along with something that increases reload speed, like alloy drum, is nice. Especially since grenade launchers are like burst damage weapons. I don't think they'll ever be really strong when it comes to total damage. I don't know if the buff that they could ever give them would be that much. I think the kings of explosive total damage will probably be rockets.
Prison of Elders welcomes.
But grenade launchers will have more burst damage. I think machine guns have the potential to be boss damage weapons, but I'm pretty sure Bungie wants them in the ad clear department, which is fine. Some encounters in a raid are not going to have anything to do with a boss. It's going to have everything to do with just making sure you're staying alive and doing the mechanics. And if Bungie creates more encounters like that, then machine guns will always have a place. But if they don't, and every encounter has a boss that needs to be killed with a very tight DPS check, then machine guns will always forever be just like something you never take with you. I wouldn't mind seeing a strike where there is no boss to meld at the end, it's just a mechanic to do. Kind of like how the mines are in this. Like if there was just something where you had to do ad clear and it was mines, I think that would be a really great spot. Kind of explore that space. Because the only reason we're taking rockets now, like if there was no boss and it was the machine guns, I don't think I'd take rockets. I'd probably take Thunderlord, if I was being honest. I'd take Thunderlord or, you know, another strong legendary, like maybe what's the name of that? The Vlog raid. Corrective Measure, I think. Corrective Measure. And Corrective Measure is great for like confluxes. There's no boss. It's all ad clear. Stuff's got void shields. they want it to be boss damage, and they create tight windows for, you know, how you have to do the boss, and especially when it's always going to it's always going to be how much damage can you get in the shortest amount of window to prevent as many amount of phases or damage checks that you can with everything. If you can do 10% more damage with a thing and skip an entire phase, people are going to use the thing. I'm gonna rocket up there too.
Guardian down.
Linear fusions are nice too. So let's say Galahorn does 220,000 damage a rocket, which I think is a little on the low end, but let's say that's average, right? That means 8 rockets will, on average, get you more than 16 linear fusion shots. And you can probably get off 8 rockets in a good situation quicker than you could get off 16 linear fusion shots. Because my linear fusion hits for about 90k. There are other ways to buff that, though, right? Oh, he made a brick on his own, didn't he? He did. So not counting buffs like uh, Feist, you know, because that refills the magazine and it won't do that next
Kill them.
patch. But discounting all of those extra bits and pieces. It's less than ideal. Oh, fuck's sake. Does he not have his well? He normally puts his well there. No, I'm gonna not get any heavy. We're gonna get fucked. Pick me up. I'm the one with overload. We have a couple extra buckets.
They are dead. You continental mines, yes. Or you die.
Now that Minotaur, I can definitely have left alone. But much safer to kill him. Much safer to kill him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Where'd he go?
Victory. Well earned.
My super back yet. And I don't quite have any extra rocket ammo.
You face the final round. A mighty cabal challenges.
Guardian down.
Couple extra rockets over here, though. That'll be fine.
Stand proud.
I think the same reason that, so heavies are pretty firmly placed in, like, boss DPS, right?
It's below.
And snipers want to kind of fill that role. But linear fusions do what snipers do better, with less zoom. They're easier to use in most situations. Because sniper flinch with zoom and how they've changed things. I think they could probably tone down sniper flinch in PvE. Just PvE specifically. PvP, I do think it's too high, but I feel like people would throw a big fit if they just toned it down across the board. But I think they should probably tone it down by, like, let's say 10% for rapid fire, 15% for adaptive, and 20% for high impact. And that would definitely help. Because right now you want to use a heavy for DPS, but if you use a rocket, you still don't want to use a sniper. Just because you put the sniper, like, you put the rocket away to shoot the sniper, and none of that shit fucking matters.
An old world is here. Judgment at
And I think really the only rockets that get used now is like Gallahorn with some other very top tier rockets or something with chill clip.
Chosen one. So, hey, confession time. Spider asked me to get a crew together to take the prison back from the Barons.
Frenzy.
And you did great. So,
Clown cartridge
I'll clean up
Frenzy
behind
isn't
you.
bad.
And Spider will sell this place back to the...
They each have their own, like,
We want a cut.
I like your style.
role to fill. Which comes into, like, what's a god role, right? Well, it's hard to say. I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be back. And then, we'll see if we can probably do some more